think about a crime scene. You picture the obvious, right? Maybe blood, signs of a struggle. But what if the really disturbing stuff? What if it's hidden? The things that whisper in the silence.
Yeah.
A detail someone missed, a question nobody answered, just that feeling that something's not right, underneath it all.
Exactly. That's where things get truly unsettling sometimes.
So that's where we're going tonight. We're diving deep into the shadows of these famous cases. Not just for the gory stuff everyone knows,
right?
But for those overlooked clues, the little things that might just flip the whole story on its head.
We're really not interested in just rehashing the headlines, are we? Our focus is on those weird anomalies, the puzzle pieces that just don't quite fit.
Yeah.
The subtle contradictions. Sometimes they're way more chilling than the obvious gruesome findings. It's about listening to what the crime scene isn't saying loud and clear.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Picture this. Boulder, Colorado, Christmas night, 1996. Festive evening then. Nightmare. The discovery of JonBenet Ramsey.
A case everyone remembers.
Everyone remembers the ransom note, sure. But think about this. The basement window. They first thought, okay, intruder got in here.
Right, that was the initial theory.
But the cobwebs on that window, completely intact, undisturbed. So, how did an outsider get in if their supposed entry point was, untouched?
That's such a powerful contradiction, right, from the get-go.
Yeah.
Those unbroken cobwebs, they're like a silent witness.
Yeah.
They just flat out challenge that idea of an external intruder using the window.
Right.
And it forces you to consider something much more, unsettling.
That the killer was already inside.
Exactly, that possibility. And what does that shift in perspective do to how we understand the whole crime?
It just throws everything into question, doesn't it? And here's another layer that kind of gets glossed over sometimes.
Okay.
The autopsy report. It mentioned a stun gun mark on JonBenet's neck. A stun gun mark. But no stun gun was ever found. Just think about that for a second. Why use a stun gun on a child and then make it vanish? Completely gone. What kind of planning does that suggest?
Yeah. The mark being there, but the weapon itself, gone.
Yeah.
That's incredibly telling, isn't it?
It is.
It points to, it's like a deliberate act.
Yeah.
Maybe trying to subdue her, quietly perhaps.
Right.
And getting rid of the device suggests, meticulousness and awareness about leaving evidence. Forensics.
Definitely.
Makes you wonder about the perpetrator's mindset. Were they trying to control the situation very specifically?
It really paints a chilling picture. Moving from this idea of forced entry to someone already inside, armed, with a weapon they carefully got rid of.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears. Jump across the country, 1947, Los Angeles. The Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short. Brutal, iconic case.
Very famous.
But have you ever really stopped to think about this really stark detail? Absolutely no blood where her body was found. None.
That lack of blood is what's so striking about the Black Dahlia case, isn't it? A crime that violent.
Yeah, you'd expect a lot.
You'd expect a significant amount of forensic evidence. Blood, especially.
Yeah.
Its absence, it strongly suggests the scene was staged.
Staged, so she was killed somewhere else.
Likely killed elsewhere, yes.
Yeah.
Probably drained of blood,
Cleaned.
and then transported to that vacant lot and posed. Think about the kind of control and calculation that implies.
Exactly. Someone went to extraordinary lengths to manage that scene. And then there's the horrifying detail of her smile.
Ugh.
Surgically, grotesquely carved into her face. Investigators back then even thought maybe the killer had medical training?
The surgeon, perhaps, yeah.
Possibly a surgeon. And there were even whispers, never proven, of course, but whispers of a connection to the LAPD.
Wow.
What does that do to your sense of security when the potential killer, the person doing this, might be someone you'd call for help?
The possibility of medical training adds this disturbing layer of precision,
Yeah.
Anatomical knowledge.
Right.
And the speculation, even unconfirmed, about a link to law enforcement that raises profound questions about power, accountability.
It's terrifying.
If someone within the system was involved, that points to a potential abuse of trust, of authority. That's just deeply unsettling.
It really is. Okay, let's shift again. This time, Perugia, Italy, 2007. The murder of Meredith Kircher. Amanda Knox obviously became a huge name.
The media coverage was intense.
Absolutely. But let's look past the frenzy for a minute at the crime scene itself and overlook detail. Multiple footprints in the blood.
Multiple.
Yeah. Some belonged to Rudy Guade, who was convicted, but others remained unidentified. Who else was there?
Those unidentified footprints are really a critical element that often gets lost in the whole complex story of the Kircher case.
Right.
They indicate potentially other people were at the scene, either during the crime or right after. It raises huge questions about the full sequence of events, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like, have we ever truly gotten the complete picture of what happened that night?
And think about this too. Meredith's bedroom door was locked. From the inside.
From the inside.
Yes. But there were signs someone had been moving around in there, and the room had been, like, partially cleaned.
Huh.
It's a puzzle, isn't it? Why lock the door from the inside? Why try to clean, but only partially? It almost feels staged.
Again, that locked door is a real conundrum.
Yeah.
Especially with the signs of tampering. It suggests a deliberate attempt to maybe manipulate the scene, create a false impression.
Could be.
And the partial cleaning. That also makes you wonder, was it panic? Or was it more calculated, trying to remove specific evidence, but missing other things?
It just leaves you wondering, what story was that room trying to tell? And was it even the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, fast forward again, 1994. Back to LA, Nicole Brown Simpson, Ron Goldman. The murders, a chaotic scene, total media circus.
Oh, I remember that vividly.
But think about the witness who couldn't talk. Nicole's Akita dog.
Ah, yes, the dog.
Neighbors report it was frantic. Whining, pacing back and forth, apparently had blood on its fur. Then, of course, the gloves. The infamous one that didn't fit. Okay. But what about the second glove, the one found behind OJ's guest house?
It often gets less attention, doesn't it?
It does. 2 victims, 2 gloves. Does that feel a bit too neat? And then the dog went silent. After all that initial distress, silence.
The dog's behavior, Nicole Brown Simpson's Akita, it's a powerful piece of the puzzle, but often ignored. Like you said, animals, they sense distress so keenly.
Definitely.
Its agitation, the blood on its fur, it strongly suggests it witnessed something deeply traumatic.
Absolutely.
And the 2 gloves, yeah, that's a curious detail. So much focus on the fit of one glove.
Finally overshadowed the other one.
But the presence and location of that second one, it warrants thought. Was it just discarded evidence? Or does its presence suggest something more about the killer's actions?
And the silence.
And the dog suddenly going quiet. What could cause that? Did someone quiet it?
Ugh. It just adds another layer of unease, doesn't it? The distressed dog, the 2 gloves, and then silence. Okay, changing tack to a different kind of mystery. 1988, New Mexico. Tara Calico goes for a bike ride, vanishes, gone without a trace.
Just disappeared.
Completely. Months later, hundreds of miles away, Florida, I think, a Polaroid photo turns up in a convenience store parking lot.
The Polaroid, yes.
Chilling. It shows a young woman and a boy, bound, gagged, their eyes just like wide with fear.
Terrifying.
And Tara's mother, she was convinced it was her daughter. She pointed to a scar, freckles, things that matched.
A mother would know, wouldn't she? Or at least have a strong feeling.
Exactly, but it was never officially confirmed. The children in that photo, they were never identified, never found.
So we just don't know for sure.
We don't know. Was it Tara's last desperate image, or was it just some random snapshot of someone else's nightmare just discarded there, hundreds of miles from where Tara went missing?
That Polaroid in the Tara Calico case is truly haunting, just deeply disturbing. The possibility it shows her or any missing kids in that state. And the sheer distance between her disappearance and where the photo was found just makes the mystery deeper, doesn't it?
It really does.
Raises chilling questions. Who took it? Why leave it there? A mother recognizing details is compelling, absolutely. But without official confirmation, you're left with this awful uncertainty, this profound unease.
It's a photograph that just screams questions, but gives absolutely no answers. Okay, finally, let's look at a more recent case. 2018, Colorado. Shanann Watts and her 2 little girls vanish.
The Watts case. Awful.
Her husband, Chris, he's on TV playing the distraught father. But if you watch the early body cam footage, there's a small detail, significant though. A child's blanket was missing.
A blanket?
Yeah. And the family dogs. Surely they would have reacted to distress, to strangers, to anything unusual.
You'd think so, especially with children involved.
They were silent. And Chris's phone. It pinged miles away, near an oil field.
The oil field location, right?
The horrific truth we know now is that he'd murdered his entire family, buried them out there.
Just unthinkable.
But what's truly, truly unsettling for me is the calm, the almost serene calm he showed right afterward, going about his day.
Yeah, the Watts case, even though we know who did it, it still has these disturbing nuances. That missing blanket, it seems small, but it speaks to, disrupting a child's comfort, their routine.
Yeah.
Right before their death.
It's heartbreaking.
And the silence of the dogs who knew and loved the family, that's a chilling sign that something was deeply wrong inside that house.
Definitely.
And the phone ping, obviously contradicting his story, that was crucial in unraveling his lies. But his calm demeanor afterward, yes, that's deeply unsettling. It just highlights how seemingly ordinary people can commit unspeakable acts.
And then try to cover it up with this mask of normalcy.
Exactly, that facade.
We often think crime scenes are, loud, chaotic, blood everywhere.
That's a stereotype, yeah.
But sometimes the most chilling stories, the real truth maybe, is told in the whispers. In those details we just overlook. The untouched cobweb, the silent dog, that unconfirmed photograph. Maybe the monsters aren't always, lurking in the shadows somewhere out there.
Maybe they walk among us.
Maybe they do. Their darkness hidden behind a totally ordinary face.
Ultimately, I think these overlooked details, they're a stark reminder, aren't they? That our understanding of crime is often just incomplete. It's shaped by the stories we're told, the obvious narratives.
Right.
But if you pay attention to the anomalies, the contradictions, the things that just feel off.
Yeah.
You can sometimes get a deeper and often much more unsettling glimpse into what really happened and who was really involved. The silence can be deafening, can't it?
If you choose to really listen.
Exactly, if you listen.